Ladies and gentlemen, Psalms 1. Blessed is the man that does not walk in the counsel of ungodly people, nor does he try to prevent sinners from repenting. And he does not sit in the seat of those who have disdain for others and are disrespectful to them. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law he meditates day and night. Now take law of the Lord and put love there, and you will get, but his delight is in love. And in love he meditates day and night. I wanted to read this for you guys before I get into this video, because love, and many people use the word for many different things, but love is what allows us all to exist in the world today. And the more you meditate on that word, is the more you learn more about life. It's not just a word. It's literally that which keeps us existing. Because of love, we're alive today. So let's move on to the centerpiece of what I want to talk about right now. I want to talk a bit about Wonder Woman, and I'll use her as a segue to introduce how many strong and powerful figures as women we saw so far in the DCEU. I do believe that the DC Cinematic Universe is unique and separates itself from other universes in the sense that we see a lot of prominent women actresses getting some prominent roles in movies. And I don't think you see that quite in any other universe. Usually the women are typecast a certain kind of way. But in the DCEU, you really are seeing some fantastic women in the foreground acting some really incredible roles, whether good or evil, that are very powerful, strong, and not in your typical stereotype of women in movies. So let's get into it. First of all, this is some fan art, and I thought it was beautiful, and it pretty much sort of epitomizes each of these DCEU movies that we've seen so far, which have Wonder Woman in it, Batman, and Superman in it. So the first really beautiful poster, I'm just going to zoom in on it a little bit, is Superman. And this actually comes from Man of Steel. You see General Zod there. You're seeing Fiora, you're seeing Lois Lane. And this really is capturing the essence of what Man of Steel was. And I will do a video on the various Superman iterations and the theme music for the different Superman iterations. So look out for that video. I do have part 2 of my video comparing Wonder Woman, Batman v Superman, and Man of Steel. So you will see that as well. But right now I am focusing on the beautiful Man of Steel here. Now, if you look to your right, okay, you will see that this is Batman v Superman. You can see that in the headline there. You can see Man of Steel right here, and you can see this is Wonder Woman. So these are the 3 films. Now, the interesting thing about Batman v Superman, as you see Batman here, and you see that Superman is seen as a false god, basically, what I love about this poster is this fan is able to capture the essence of what Batman v Superman is about. He's also able to capture the essence of what Superman is about in the poster, and he's able to capture the essence of what Wonder Woman is about in these posters. And that's what's so deep about this fan who designed these posters. Basically, Batman v Superman was about Batman seeing Superman not as a hero, but as a false god, that he is a danger to mankind, and Batman needs to stop him. Basically, that's the movie. Superman sees Batman as a vigilante who is going reckless and wild, and he needs to also be stopped. And you see Superman intervene with Batman in the story. But he does not see Batman as someone who needs to be killed or eradicated. Batman sees Superman that way. The movie is called Batman v Superman because it is Batman who really wants to wage the war against Superman, because he feels Superman has raged or brought the war to Earth. Okay? And two events really swayed Batman's mind. The first one was Ground Zero in Metropolis, and the second one was the explosion in the Capitol. Those two events really triggered Batman to really accelerate his movement to eradicate Superman. Thankfully, he didn't do so. Again, Death in the Family is a good piece of literature for you to go and see the mindset of Batman and what provoked him to do such, because he also tried to kill the Joker after the Joker killed Robin. You kill someone close to Batman, very close to him, and Batman usually trips out for a while. Okay? So Batman takes his relationships really seriously. I think the only person who died in a Batman movie where Batman didn't freak out was his butler. Right? His butler in The Dark Knight Returns actually died because Wayne Manor started to fall apart and he thought Batman was dead. Now, let's move on to... So, this basically tells you what Batman v Superman is. And basically, this poster tells you everything you need to know about Superman, or Man of Steel here. This poster is showing Superman looking down at the Earth as a guardian. And you see Lois Lane looking up at him as a symbol of hope. You can see that Kal-El, and this is taken from the actual movie, is looking at him very sinisterly as the only thing blocking him from stopping him from recreating Krypton. Jor-El also looks at him very savagely. And if you look here, you will see that this is the people of Earth, Perry White and Company Limited, and they are obviously running away from the threat that is coming down on them. They are like the poor little people, the pawns in the middle of this rift between Superman and General Zod. Okay? So that's basically the movie right there. Now, Wonder Woman. What's so awesome about Wonder Woman is there is no antagonist for Wonder Woman. She's just alone in this poster. Again, I'm not reading too much into this. This is what it is. This poster is showing you, and notice it's written in ancient Greek, how they do the letters here. This is in ancient Greek. So there's a lot of background to these posters. You have to pay attention, right? But the key here is that when you look at Wonder Woman, she's wearing some gloves on her hand. All right? That's, again, not to be cut by the sword, etc. But the key thing here is she's wearing a cloak that says that she didn't fully reveal herself, or she's revealing herself here. And this is about the revelation of Wonder Woman. And the other thing that's very important is she's not fighting against an enemy that is a singularity, a person, a thing. She is actually fighting or waging war against abstract things, hatred, envy, jealousy. And so her war is really a war of love. And Wonder Woman, though she does vanquish, or seemingly vanquish, Ares, I don't think Ares is vanquished, but she seemingly has vanquished Ares. Notice she did it with a symbol, and she took the lightning, sent it back in Ares. She did not use her own power. She did not use the God Killer sword. She did not use her weapons against Ares. She used what Ares put at her, and she sent it back at him, and he was destroyed. Very important also to note is that Wonder Woman learned or reinforced within herself that war is not good, and that love is the important thing to heal mankind. Ares suggested war to bring peace, and Wonder Woman rejected that. And instead of killing the enemy, the person who caused this death of Steve and the mass deaths of the city she had saved, the little town that she saved, Dr. Poison, who was definitely, she and also and General Ludendorff were the culprits of bringing about mass destruction of people close to Diana. Instead, she forgives Dr. Poison, allows her to see another day. She does not deal to her what she deserves. Now, this is important because Diana's reaction to the death of people close to her is different to Bruce Wayne's reaction to the people close to him. Bruce Wayne does not believe in mercy. Bruce Wayne believes in justice. Diana, on the other hand, she believes in justice, but with love, with mercy. Superman's ideology is powerful. Superman believes first and foremost in mercy, in care, in justice. He does not believe that justice is necessary where you see that someone can be given a second chance. Superman encompasses the ideals of love, but he encompasses it in such a way that he is more than just a protector. He's not a soldier. He's not a soldier. Superman is not a soldier per se. Okay? Which is why it was interesting at the end of BVS that Diana says they tried to bury him and honor him as a soldier when she said that in BVS. It's really deep because that's the only way they saw Superman, as a soldier. But Superman is so much more than a soldier. In fact, very little of Superman is actually a soldier. Superman will protect you if he can. He does the best he can. He's a take charge kind of guy, but he's not really a militant kind of person. Even though in Man of Steel he behaved very decisive and he was very much militant there, and you see in BVS he's a person. And a lot of times Superman's not going in to fight any battle. He's usually going in to save someone, to help someone. That's what Superman is. And the last thing Superman wants to do is kill. He doesn't want to kill. Okay? You saw him huge remorse against General Zod when he killed General Zod. He literally yelled out and screamed out, and he was traumatized. You saw Superman traumatized. He was looking up at Lois Lane, and he was just messed up. Okay? And then when you saw Superman again, the next time he killed was again General Zod again. General Zod basically gets killed more than once. He kills General Zod, but this time his life is taken. So even though he's giving it his all, and you see him go, ugh, and you see Superman give his whole will, he's dying. He's been impaled, he's dying, and he still impales himself further to kill Doomsday because Doomsday is such a threat. But notice his first option against Doomsday was not to kill Doomsday. He pushed Doomsday into outer space and started punching him into outer space. So Superman is not the most likely guy to kill. Batman will kill. Wonder Woman will kill. Superman takes life very seriously. Okay? His option with General Zod, actually, if you think about it, if you were watching Man of Steel, was to banish him back into the Phantom Zone. Was to get him back into the Phantom Zone. He was trying to get everybody back in the Phantom Zone, send them back where they came from. He was not able to do so without General Zod remaining. I don't know if Faora-El and the General, the Earth General, and the Doctor, I don't know if they're also in the Phantom Zone because everything got sucked in. You didn't see the aircraft, right? So it's possible that the Singularity sucked everybody, Faora-El and everybody, into the Phantom Zone, and you could see Faora-El and company and the Earthly General probably back again. So you never know, because there's this possibility that they did not die in the crash, but that the vacuum that was created sucked them all in. So it's very possible. All right. Okay, so having said that, I just wanted to summarize the three films, because I think a lot of people don't know, especially the people who watch Batman v Superman. They watched it, it didn't fulfill their expectations, there was a lot of negativity around Batman v Superman, and so as a result of that, a lot of people haven't gone and watched that movie again. But when they watch it again, I think they're going to realize, as they're removed from that situation, oh, this was a damn good movie, and they're going to be able to get what the movie was about, because a lot of people who have their gripes against Batman v Superman and nitpicking, most of the time they don't even know what the movie's about. You ask them, well, what was the movie about? What was the story? Tell me the story. And they'll give you all kinds of excuses. One guy, he told me, oh, I don't have time for that, or you're insulting my intelligence because I told you what the story is, and you didn't. You didn't tell me what the story is. So a lot of times people don't know. It's a very simple story, really. It is about Batman having loss in his life, and Zack Snyder makes a point to show his parents' death, and having lost along the way, sees Superman as a serious threat because he sees grand scale loss. He lost a lot of people from Wayne Enterprises, and he saw the devastation in Metropolis, and he purposed in his heart to destroy Superman so that he wouldn't cause more loss. And it wasn't that Superman wasn't doing good things in the world, but Batman saw the potential for Superman to cause great destruction to mankind. And he doesn't know, Superman's not accountable. Nobody has him accountable. We saw in the end of Man of Steel, he was like, you just gotta have to trust me, because I'm not gonna tell you where I hang my cape, and I'm not someone who you can control. So because Superman is not controllable, Batman has a problem with that, okay? And that's why he has to stop Superman, one way or the other. And he knows Superman is superpowered, and he knows Superman would destroy him like a twig if Superman wanted to. But he's counting on Superman to be a good guy to this extent that he wouldn't kill him. And he's banking on that so that he can kill Superman. He's looking to kill Superman in this movie. And yes, Batman does look to kill people on occasion, and he has done it in movies, okay? So it's not like, you're talking about a Batman who hasn't killed before. He literally tried to kill Talia al Ghul. That's why he was blasting the ship with from the bat with his weapons, with his missiles. He was looking to kill her, okay? So, again, I think people misunderstand Christopher Nolan's movies. And I think after Catwoman shot, I watched The Dark Knight just recently, actually. After she shot with the cannons from his bat pod when she killed Bane, and she said, that one rule about guns, that don't make no sense. Batman then went on chasing Talia al Ghul, and he was blasting that truck to destroy it, okay? He wasn't playing, because Talia al Ghul had a weapon that would destroy all of Gotham. So he had to take her down before she took down Gotham. And it makes sense. Of course he's going to try and kill her. He's going to use as much force as he can, not to destroy the bomb, but to destroy the, stop the truck. So, yeah, of course he's going to try to kill her. Again, people they're not using their heads. They're thinking Batman never kills and he should not kill. He doesn't propose in his mind to kill. If you are big enough a threat, Batman has to kill you. He's going to take you down. It's happened in the comics. Darkseid, he was looking to kill Darkseid. He wasn't looking to, you know what I'm saying? You're a threat. You're a big threat, So, of course, if you're big enough a threat, these superheroes are going to take you down. That's just what it is. Superman will kill us well. If you're a bigger threat, Zod was a huge threat. And he was looking he didn't care. He was just looking to destroy mankind. So Superman, and Zod said, it's either you die or I do. You know what I'm saying? And Zod wasn't playing, okay? So, and he can fight, right? It's not like Superman could beat Zod. If that fight went on longer, and Zod was taking the fight to Superman. Superman knew he had to stop him. People, I don't know what's wrong with people. I don't know if they understand these things. Maybe they're kind of removed from it. Maybe they weren't into the movie. I don't know what it was. But these superheroes will kill. All three of them will kill you. If you are big enough a threat, they will kill you. Okay, Diana's purpose, why she went out to stop the war, was to kill Ares. Her purpose was to kill him. She didn't make no qualms. She was like, I'm going to kill Ares. That was what it was. All right, that was her purpose. She purposed in her mind to kill. So Diana kills. All right, don't have two minds about it. She will kill you. Okay, Batman will kill you if he has to stop you and you're big enough a threat. And Superman was a huge threat. You got to understand, Batman didn't know who Superman was. He didn't know who Superman was. Okay, so you got to understand, and he didn't know what he was capable of. And the world was still up in. They didn't know if to trust Superman or not. He was a controversial figure in Batman v Superman. And it makes sense. In the real world, if any superpower being just appears in this world, it will change everything. It will change the way how we think about stuff. Why do you think the government will never talk to us about if there are aliens or extraterrestrials on this planet? You think they want us to freak out? We would freak out if some alien or some super. And the point behind Man of Steel, which is emphasized more than any other Superman movie ever, was that Superman was not one of us. He was an alien. He was not one of us. Now, in all the other Superman iterations you love, the comics, if you even look at the Donner movies, you go further back into time and you look at the TV series on Superman from 1941 all the way up, okay? whether it's animation or live action, you will find that they don't emphasize as heavily as Zack Snyder did that Superman is an alien. He's not a human being. He's not from Earth. He may come from a race of people who are similar to Earthlings, but have these greater abilities because of the environment of Earth. But the point is, he's not a human being. He was raised human, but he's not human. That is very important. Batman understood that. And why Batman thinks he's false, he's a false god, and also that he's false and fake, is because Superman appears and looks like human beings, and then he just appears and disappears, which means he's assimilated himself and he's moving among human beings. So Batman knows how dangerous Superman could be. And the possibility that Superman could be dangerous is the thing that Batman always works on. He always works on the probability of you being dangerous. He's a sort of narcissistic guy, okay? He's kind of sarcastic, okay? Batman doesn't have a sense of humor because he knows the potential for someone to be dangerous and evil is what he tries to annihilate. He tries to remove that. He's been dealing with criminals all the time. What if you think about cops? Batman's kind of like has cop mentality. He's thinking narcissistically. He's thinking about the possibility of you being a danger. That's how the police, that's how the cops, that's how they work, okay? So when you think of Batman, think of a cop. Think of police brutality. Think of all the things that police do. And they don't intend to do it, but their mindset is potentially everyone is a criminal. Potentially. To protect the good people, I have to think that everyone has a potential to be evil. You have to think that way as a cop. And that's how Batman thinks. And so, for those people who don't understand this movie, Batman v Superman, I can't understand how you can't. I think most people, it's not that they don't understand the movie, they intentionally decide to say it in a negative way because it reflects so much on the society we live in today. And then it was a threat to, of course, Captain America Civil War, and all these Marvel-minded people at the time were just heaping doles and doles of trash on it because Captain America Civil War was coming up. Okay? Now, interestingly enough, after the pushback from Suicide Squad and from Batman v Superman and from the pushback that started to happen, and it was a severe pushback, and then people didn't understand how Suicide Squad was unfairly bashed, and it was unfairly bashed. David Ayer's piece, because people found out, oh, there's a little bit of Zack Snyder in there, and they decided to attack it. Wonder Woman has Zack Snyder in it. But they tried to banish Zack Snyder, saying, oh, he's not that good, blah, 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 blah. And they tried to banish Zack Snyder. Now, we have Joss Whedon on the project with Justice League. But trust me, the hate is still there. They want to hate on this film. There's still that hate there. But they know, even if you hate on... Right now, Suicide Squad has grossed more than Wonder Woman. All you want to talk about, Wonder Woman grossed more domestically, doesn't really matter. Because at the end of the day, Suicide Squad has grossed more than it, even though it got trashy ratings. And Batman v Superman has grossed more than it, and that got trashy ratings as well. Okay? My point being this. All that hate on these movies. You look at Transformers right now, it's doing well. It's already made back its money. And there's so much hate against Transformers. You look at, what's that movie? Fast and Furious 8. Critics tried to tear into that movie. It still grossed over $1 billion. You look at the movie that came out just recently there, Pirates of the Caribbean. Again, critics bashed that movie. It's already past $700 million, and it's still grossing in money. It's still gonna. These movies are going to make their money because the critics who are hating on these movies, okay, because they're so narrow-minded, they can't see that the audience will value these movies for things that they don't value. And that's why I said I bash on these critics, because as much as they lauding Wonder Woman, what has Wonder Woman done that Batman v Superman and Man of Steel didn't do? In fact, Wonder Woman is very similar to Man of Steel. Very, very similar. And I'm showing you that, and I'll do part 2 to just prove my point. So anyway, let me get into this, because I've been talking a lot about these 3 movies, and they're very important because these are members of the Trinity. Now I'm hearing these dumb, shallow-minded critics saying, oh, now we're seeing the different kinds of superheroes, and we're realizing what the DCEU has to offer. You're hearing all kinds of stupid conversation. Like, these people who are supposed to be intelligent, they're supposed to be intelligent people, all right? They can't understand that Batman v Superman is a whole other level of comic book movie. Oh, Wonder Woman's going to make Batman v Superman, Man of Steel look better now, and Suicide Squad. No, it isn't. It's just that your shallow little mind couldn't pick up what this movie was doing because you were busy trying to hate on it because of the Marvel films. Now Kevin Feige comes and says, oh, Wonder Woman's done well back, and I'm so happy for the DCEU, and now all of you dumbasses are now saying something because you think you got rid of Zack Snyder? No, but Zack Snyder's going to be around for a very long time. Now, I don't know if he'll be in the DCEU, but he's going to be around for a very long time. Zack Snyder started this ball rolling. It's Zack Snyder's story that you're watching with Wonder Woman. Not completely, of course, but it is his story. Of course, Warner Brothers had all these scripts and all these things before, and they tweaked it and stuff. But my point is, Zack Snyder did this. Now, there's another thing I want to say. I got so much to say. That's the problem. But I can't do this video over. There's so much to say about the DCU that I like and value and cherish. And I'm not going to talk about other universes. They're getting themselves... One's been around for a little while, and the Dark Universe with Universal, we'll see how things pan out. There was a lot of hate on The Mummy. Right? Remember that? The Mummy's making its money. Okay? It's making box office. It's breaking even. Okay? I don't know what it is with these critics, but they can't open their minds to diversity in filmmaking. They cannot open, Hollywood cannot open its mind to people doing things differently and approaching things differently. They want it to be a specific kind of way. And I find that a shame because some good movies, all right, are coming out. Really good movies are coming out with different takes on characters and with different ways of looking at things. And these stupid critics are bashing on it. And then certain members of the audience, certain people who depend on critics for criticism, all right, they have to now think, oh, this movie ain't worth it. I ain't going to go see this movie. Where they would have gone and seen the movie. And they would have enjoyed the movie. The other thing I find really stupid is hearing people on Collider and all these other stupid people say, oh, well, you know, you have to take critics as a guide. And there's always going to be a critic that shares your point of view. No, that's bullshit. Okay? These critics are not following the rules of how to critique a movie. The first thing a critic is supposed to do is tell you the story of the movie. Even if you have a non-spoiler review, you should be able to break down the essence of the movie without spoiling the movie. You should be able to do that. And these critics can't do it. And they tell you about it's a mess of a movie and it's a jumble. You should be able to sift through that mess. Because you're supposed to. If you have critical thinking, you're supposed to do that. Divorce yourself from your emotions and at least know what the mess is about. And once you can break down what the mess is about, then you can talk about it being a mess because they did a poor job of putting it together so that you know what it is. But you must be able to break down the essence of a movie and tell us what it is. And you should not be able, you should be able to paraphrase that in your own words. You shouldn't have to go to IMDb and look at the synopsis of a movie. You should be able to do that on your own. That means you have analytical skills. And now you can say how poorly they executed this or portrayed this or because you've been able to break down the movie. And most of these critics can't do that. They can't. Okay? But they're ready to dig into the movie and its flaws. And we know a lot of these flaws are nitpicks. They should be able to tell you what Transformers is about, The Last Night. They should be able to tell you what Pirates of the Caribbean is about. They should be able to tell you what this movie's about and that movie's about. And you should be able to tell me in terms of the genre you're looking at. Put some effort into your work. Don't just go bashing away. Put some effort into your work. Tell me exactly what... And then when you're doing your spoiler reviews, you should be able to specifically identify the problems so that you can give suggestions on how it should be improved. It's not... A film critic is not someone who just comes in there and they've watched a lot of movies and they say, oh, this movie's terrible. I didn't like it. That's not enough. You're a film critic. People are going to see this movie as well. It's not just subjective. It's not just your opinion about a movie. It also has to have a level of objectivity in it where you're telling me why the filmmaking process, why you think it failed here and it failed there. We have a society now where Donald Trump can just say anything off the top of his ass and people buy it because, oh, we have to respect people's opinions. I can't respect an opinion that has no grounding in facts and logic. If someone comes to me and says, oh, there's no such thing as gravity, I'm supposed to respect that? Hell no. Because we all know gravity exists. So you don't respect every single opinion out here. That's bullshit. Okay? Anyway, what I'm going to have to do, because this video has been on a little too long, is I will have to do another video on the DCEU women in the DCEU and how these actors have actually gotten, have gotten some pretty awesome roles to play that push the boundary on acting and actually are worth the while. I could see why they were attracted to these roles. Let me just roll through this really quickly. So we have here, I'm going to do a longer video, don't worry, on this. But here I just want to show you the roles that some of these actresses have gotten. The major roles, that is. Okay? So in Man of Steel, looking at Man of Steel here, I'll come back to this. We had Feora L. Okay? And that was a powerful, commanding, she was kind of evil. It depends on what perspective you're looking at. If she's a Kryptonian, you would see her as a hero. If you look at an Earthling, she'd look like a villain. Depending on how you see how Krypton was run, you could see her as also a villain because she betrayed, she did treason, act of treason against Krypton. So it depends on which perspective you're coming from. If you're a militaristic perspective, you see her more as a hero. But she is something, alright? She was a main part of Man of Steel that made Man of Steel fantastic. General Zod wasn't as strong as she was. She was more vicious than he was, okay? And that is to highlight the strong, very powerful character that was played by a woman, an actress. A dimension of a woman that is womanly, but yet at the same time ruthless. Okay? But not just ruthless. She also had logic to her, etc. But she was very military. Okay? Then we had Lois Lane. This is my favorite scene in the movie. This is the scene that actually got me watching this movie. You know, it was a kind of intriguing little chess game going on between these two. And I thought Lois Lane actually checkmate Superman, which I thought she got the last say. And that's typical of a woman, you know. I love Lois Lane in Man of Steel. She has that ruthless side to her. You know, that get the story side to her. And you can't mess with her. But yet she's still feminine. And she's not the butt of jokes. She actually is to be taken seriously. I love this. This reminds me of how women behave in the real world. And yet she has this soft side to her, but yet she's also tough as nails at the same time. And boy, when it comes to being a reporter, she's fantastic as a reporter. I really love it. She, again, her investigative skills, etc. And we see Lois Lane also in Batman v Superman. Again, this was one of my favorite scenes. Usually her dialogues with people they're fantastic. And this was one of my favorite scenes where she says, "You're psychotic." She sums him up really quickly. And she was also in Man of Steel. Again, the actresses who got to play these roles in the DCEU got some fantastic roles, and they got a lot of screen time. So you gotta love that. Senator Finch, played by Holly Hunter. Oh my God, that was fantastic how she did all of the different pieces and roles. And she's kind of more of a intellectual hard ass, you know. She's all about the truth and getting to the truth of the matter. And she really psychoanalyzes people, and she picks up what they're doing and stuff. She was just steps behind Lex Luthor. What can I say? She didn't know, you know. She underestimated him. He's a bastard, man. She made that scene in the. There are two scenes in Batman v Superman I loved with her. And she made that scene with Lex Luthor. That scene with Lex Luthor, you know, where she just unveils him. Ah, my God, that was fantastic. It's awkward. It's awkward as hell. But it's a fantastic scene. I mean, you could win an Academy Award with that scene because the emotions that were portrayed is so subtle between the two actors were, oh my God, another level. It's another level. You've never seen this in Hollywood. You've never seen a powerful man who is pretending to be frail and weak, and yet kind of awkward in how he's presenting himself, with a powerful woman who, she is still a woman, but she's tough. You can tell she's about tough love, and yet she's still a woman. And she's not cowering, she's not compromising with him in any sort of way. Yet she's still engaging somewhat, but she summoned him up. She knows what he's about. She's figured out what he's about. And she lets him know that in that scene with Lex Luthor. And you can see that he wants to flex his muscles against her, but he has to kind of camouflage it. He's still playing, this sort of social kind of guy, socially awkward kind of guy, nerdy kind of guy. But you can see in all of his body language that he wants to flex. And he's like, you little shit, It's throughout. You see him thump those fingers really hard against. He ticks a little bit because he knows she's not buying into his bullshit. And he starts to thrum those hands. And he's trying to be nice all the time, He's like, when he starts his 1 by 1, 2 by 2, galloping through the streets to warn us. But really, he's just like, he's very sarcastic in everything he's saying, but he's trying to hold back the sarcasm. You can see he's brimming over. He's like, biatch, please. And then when he realizes she hasn't bought into his bullshit, he unveils himself. And he's like, he's talking about the portrait, but he's really setting it up. He knows kind of steps ahead that she's visiting him now to block him. He kind of figures that out already. And he's like, no bourbon. When he says no bourbon, he's really humoring her, because he knows what she's coming to do. He's kind of steps ahead of her. And goddamn, he's such a badass. Lex Luthor, in that little interaction with her, and she's tough, man. She's tough, but she is a junior senator, so she's kind of still naive. Man, that scene is so sick. I mean, but anyway, he says, "We know now better now, Senator." This is after he's talking about the portrait. "I want to change one thing in this room, devils don't come from hell beneath us. No, they come from the sky." She knows he wants to kill Superman. And she's kind of figuring out why he wants to kill Superman. It's because he wants to be the center of power. Right? He wants to annihilate Superman to be the center of power. Right? So subtle. And the whole point behind Lex Luthor doing this is for that reason. And she knows it's a weapon of assassination he's trying to do. So when he's finished, he says to her, "Oh, we know now better, Senator. Devils don't come from hell beneath us. They come from the sky." He sees Superman as a threat. He sees him as a devil. Lois Lane says he's psychotic, because he is. He's psychotic, but he's not fully psychotic. He's firing with all his cylinders, but his logic has a bit of a flaw in it. And it comes from his father having tortured him and beaten him as a child, that Superman never came to rescue him. And he knows if you have power, you have to wield it. And you have to wield it ruthlessly, as his father did to him. So he sees his whole logic is evil. It's demonic. It's psychotic in a certain respect, but it's really mostly demonic. He's not about chaos like the Dark Knight's Joker is doing. He's not about insanity either. Lex Luthor has a lot of logic to what he's saying, and he's not about insanity. He's about power. Lex Luthor is about power. But he's not just power hungry. No. He is about power because he feels that he has the knowledge to wield that power properly and appropriately that will help mankind. Okay? So Lex Luthor feels he's saving mankind. He thinks he's doing mankind a service. And you hear Jesse Eisenberg say that. But you couldn't know this if it wasn't for Senator Finch. She's the guy that basically reveals that he's Superman. It's not Lois Lane. Not Superman, but he has bad intentions. She's the first one to be in on it. Lois Lane discovers that after. But she helps to really uncover the plot that Lex Luthor has against Superman. So she's able to uncover it. But Senator Finch, she knows in advance what he's about to do. She's the first person to do that. And she's very powerful in this movie. Then we have, of course, Wonder Woman. A.K.A. Diana Prince. Or at least she's called Diana Prince in this movie. And she doesn't get a huge part of this movie is not about her. She's mostly cameoing, but when she cameos, it's so powerful that it will erupt. I don't care if you're a man, woman, child. It will blow your senses wide open. So, we've just mentioned 4 powerful women, potent women, within 2 movies. That's never happened in Hollywood cinema. And these women, it's not about their sexuality. It's not about none of that. It's about what they're about in the movie. Hollywood doesn't do that stuff. And it took somebody like a Zack Snyder to do that. Okay? No love interest. Okay, Lois Lane has love interest with Superman. But other than that, nobody else has love interest. They're just in roles. Let's move on. Then we had Suicide Squad. And Harley Quinn is just completely, she's just like, she messed up in the head. She's worse than the Joker. We learn about her. And you know everybody loves Harley Quinn because right now she's probably, besides Wonder Woman, she's probably the most ubiquitous. When this movie came out, so many people loved Harley Quinn's interaction with the Joker, and people are still bunkers about it. Suicide Squad was made because of Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn makes this movie. She steals the show. Deadshot does well, but she's really topmost and center. Again, the actress playing this role gets this huge role that's big, and basically she doesn't method act, but it's as crazy as the Joker, but still friendly and interactive more than the Joker is, right? So we got Harley Quinn, and we also got Enchantress. Some people liked the part played by the actress, and some didn't like it, but nonetheless she had immense amounts of powers. And again, she wasn't seen only as a sexual object, even though she kind of sexualized, sort of, because she had love interests and stuff like that. Okay? And my point being that when you look at the kinds of roles we're talking about, that's six prominent characters in 3 movies we're talking about. That's 2 characters per movie. Alright? Oh, I also forgot Viola Davis. How could I forget her? Viola Davis, she played the head of the Suicide Squad. And she was there as well. And she was evil. Oh, she's evil. Forget Enchantress. She's evil. You know what I'm saying? She's bad. And anyway, she also, I forgot that one. That's 7. Now name me any, I don't care if it's the MCU, I don't care if it's the, I don't care if it's movies even in general, or, franchises, trilogies, whatever. You talk about the Fast and Furious, we don't have as many new introduced characters, powerful female roles like that. That's 7 characters I just did in 3 movies. Any other franchise where you've seen that, you won't find it. You won't find it. Okay? And then we have Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is the iconic, I mean, she is, and people be dying to see her, okay? Finally, we got a Wonder Woman that little girls, little boys, people everywhere. But in her movie, that's the 4th movie now, we had how many strong, powerful women characters? We had Hippolyta. Okay, that brings us to 8. And then we had the other major female character was Antiope. Antiope can kick ass. And the interesting thing about Antiope, look at Antiope's running. Diana patterned herself after Antiope, whether it's in battle or otherwise. She patterned herself after Antiope. I just want to show you the similarities in them running and stuff, and just how they behave, their attitude. Look at their attitude. It's the same. Okay? Of course, Diana is wearing Antiope's symbol on her forehead. So she is like Antiope reincarnated. But she's a fusion of Antiope and Hippolyta. Okay? She's a fusion of Antiope and Hippolyta. And Hippolyta's morals and Antiope's morals are fused within Diana. Alright? But what I'm saying is 9 strong characters. That's 9 women actresses in Hollywood got 9 really powerful roles. The DCEU in 4 films have hired 9 principles. I'm not even talking about the other women that are in there in those movies. 9 principal roles you've never seen. No other place in Hollywood has ever done that. That's why Josh Whedon's on board for Batgirl, because he gets it. He's like, Warner Brothers and the DCEU got it. They understand that we need to have tropes of women in Hollywood that are outside of the typical Hollywood tropes, where they're objectified or they have minor sidekick characters. No, they need to be major characters, major roles. FAOL was a sort of sidekick, and so was Harley Quinn. All right, but my point anyway is major roles, major characters, and we're getting to see that finally. What does Marvel have? I think she had a sidekick to Thor, and a lady from Earth, and then I think they had Black Widow, and that witch lady who can work spells. Is that it? Have I covered everybody? There's Spider-Man's mom that's coming up, and we're talking about they've had 13 to 15 movies. They should have upwards of 30 to 40 new characters for women. They don't have that. And that's what I'm talking about with Hollywood. And that's what I talk about when I talk about the DCEU and why I like it so much, and just its different way of doing things. I like the DCEU because it's progressive. Okay? It's not just diversity for diversity's sake. It's diversity with power. It's not a gimmick. Hollywood been throwing gimmicks at us. That's not happening with Zack Snyder's DCEU. There's a lot of dimension to Zack Snyder's DCEU. I'm interested in seeing how they portray Cyborg. But we've seen a lead male character in Suicide Squad. Deadshot was Will Smith, a black actor, in the forefront, where the movie was centered around Deadshot. You gotta understand what I'm saying. DC is super duper duper progressive. Really progressive. And that's what I like about the DCEU. You saw Perry White as a prominent leader in a newspaper. Yeah, the newspaper was failing, but he was a prominent leader in that. That's iconic. That was in Man of Steel. Came back in Batman v Superman. I'm just saying. Anyway, on that note, you guys have a great one. I will not be redoing the prominent women in the DCEU actresses. No, I wouldn't bother to do that now. Okay? If you guys want to donate to my channel, sure, by all means, donate to my channel. I always try to come with something different, new, insightful. Alright? To donate to my channel, you simply go to the About section and then message me. On that note, you guys have a great one.